when somebody's in the marketplace looking for some help, and whether that's getting new tires for their car or looking for a financial advisor, a lot of times they'll go online and find somebody. There's fiduciary matching services out there, or a lot of times they will get a referral from a friend, somebody who's had a good experience with a financial advisor and has good things to say about the difference that made in their life. So I was just talking to a client yesterday down in my office. We were getting her all signed up, and she had actually been matched to me by an online service that finds fiduciaries and people who need financial planning and puts them together. I had initially been put in contact with her about a year ago. And so finally we were just sitting down doing the paperwork, and she was just happy. And then all of a sudden she kind of slowed down and stopped and teared up a little bit. And I don't know, if it was my 20 years in the Marines, but my emotional IQ, right, sometimes isn't the highest. And I kind of went, oh no, she's tearing up. But it turns out she was happy. And I said, hey, what's going on? And she said, I'm just, I'm so happy. I'm just like, I'm relieved. I'm looking at this financial plan and it's taken care of. And I said, that's awesome. And that's what I shoot for, right? I know when I'm looking for something, I just want to be taken care of. And I believe that my clients deserve the same thing. So I said, if you don't mind me asking, we got put in contact about a year ago, and, here we are in 2022, almost 2023. And I'm super happy to have you as a client. And what was kind of caused the hesitation with meeting up with me? And she said, well, look, I got matched up with you and a couple other people. And all of a sudden my phone started blowing up and I was getting emails, and what seemed like a good idea at first, all of a sudden seemed overwhelming. And she said, I actually sat down with a couple other people. One was your friendly neighborhood advisor that everybody knows, and the other one was an advisor at my bank. And they ended up handing me hundreds of pages of numbers and data and little graphs and charts showing how okay I was going to be. And the next thing I knew, they just wanted all my money. And I didn't like that. And so finally, it just took me this long to get back together with you. So I'm making this video to show you what the financial planning process looks like. And it may be similar among different advisory firms. This one is specific to us here at Capital Partners Wealth Management, and done the right way, putting in place the correct financial plan with the correct tools can ultimately be just a total net benefit for clients. But sometimes the process seems overwhelming. So if I haven't met you yet, my name is Chris Reed and I'm the owner of Capital Partners Wealth Management. And this video is just to let you know what the financial planning process looks like. So this is really just to kind of break it down. We pride ourselves here on taking very complex things and being able to draw them on the back of a napkin and make them understandable. And so this is just going to walk you through what the financial planning process with us looks like. There will be a second video, which is probably more important, and that's how to actually interview financial advisors and make sure you don't make a big mistake that could cost you big money over the long run of a relationship with a financial advisor. But this right here is just about the process. So again, the financial planning process here, how we've built it with our proprietary systems, is really to take what can be many, many complex issues, everything from somebody who just needs to save for retirement all the way to somebody with large estate, complex estates and tax planning, and make it as easy as possible. Really, we're very goal and mission oriented here. And I don't care what I'm looking for in my life. I know when I'm looking for that thing, it's just so that I can have a better life. And it's just so that I can have peace of mind. When I am watching my daughter play soccer, and don't ask me how somebody in my family became a good soccer player, probably my wife's genes, or when I'm out coaching my son at lacrosse, the last thing on earth I want to be thinking about is if my money's doing what I want it to do. So we really start with where people are over here with all the different financial planning and investment things that run through our head every day. And all we want to do is just get to that end state. We want to get to that place where we know things are taken care of. And that's really that's it. I mean, so everything that we do in our process is driven towards that goal. Now, when I talk about complexity, this is our proprietary financial diagnostic. This is just part of what we go through when we're looking at someone's financial life. All these different things that you see on the screen can have a massive, massive impact on when you can retire, how much money you'll have in retirement, what your retirement will look like, how much you pass on to your kids and grandkids, all those different things. They can be very, very complex. But for all my clients, the feedback that I've gotten that they love is that they don't have to think about any of this. This is our job. This is our job as financial planners, no matter who you work with. We take all these things, and here at Capital Partners, we like to put them just into a nice, easy process. So the experience for us is going through all these different things and thinking about them, but that's done in the background. What our clients get to do is sit back and just have a conversation. And that conversation has to start somewhere, and where it typically starts is just with a phone call. Now, that phone call can either come from a referral or it can come from finding, somebody on their website or some sort of online matching service. And I will tell you, for all the complexity, for all the tax implications, market volatility, inflation, everything that we think about on a daily basis and actually goes into the tools we use for the financial plan, this that you see right here on the screen, number one, is the hardest part. It is the hardest part, and I don't care if you're a referral or if you have come across a financial advisor in any other way. There's always that moment when you have to pick up the phone and just talk to someone. So once that's done, and that shouldn't take too long, it should take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, really, for both parties, both you, the prospective client, and us, the prospective advisor. Both parties should be able to get a pretty good feel for whether or not we're going to be a decent fit. Now, just because you schedule a second appointment doesn't mean that you're going to become a client. Maybe there's extenuating circumstances that mean that's not going to happen, and that's okay. At that second appointment, we just go through a basic 3-part process. Number one, we discover where you want to be, the things that are important to you. Because in our firm, we have a saying, and that's people's finances reflect their values. So you currently have your finances arranged one way, and that reflects certain things in your life. And then the question is, how do we arrange those finances to reflect where you want to be? Second is fit. You're probably going to enjoy sitting down and talking to most financial advisors. Most financial advisors are very, very good people, very good-hearted people out there trying to do the best they can, and probably very personable. And that's important. And then finally, it's just fact-finding. That's where you actually get into the nitty-gritty of your different accounts and all that kind of thing. But honestly, that's the easiest, smallest part of it. Really, it's kind of those first two things that are the most important. Once that happens, then we go and do our jobs. Then we, as the financial advisors, take all that financial data and we go back and do that financial diagnostic. And then we come up with some insights, some plans, some recommendations, some things maybe you haven't thought about. And then we schedule one last appointment where we simply lay it out in front of you. And I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. Now, when we lay that all back out, you're going to know what we recommend, why we recommend it, why it's good for you and your financial plan. But at the end of the day, I always tell every prospective client, you're the CEO, you're the boss of this business, you're the boss of your money. All we do as financial advisors is we're the CFO, we're the chief financial officer, we're the ones who know about market volatility, again, what stocks to pick, Roth conversions, any of those different things that really can impact your financial future. So once we come to an agreement, and to put a pause on it, we never come to any kind of agreement with any of our clients until people are fully educated, have all their questions answered, and are completely relaxed. I have had clients in the past kind of grudgingly say, okay, well, that seems like a good idea. And I'll just put the brakes on and say, it may or may not be a good idea, but we're not going to do anything until we have you comfortable and bought into what we're doing and why we're doing it. After that's done, that's just lever pulling time. So when we're executing a financial plan, that can be any number of different things that can happen. There's sometimes accounts that need to be moved. Sometimes there's rebalancing or other things that need to be done. Sometimes accounts come, sometimes they stay where they're at. It really just depends on the plan because it's all process driven. After all that execution is done, that's a lot of times where the real value of a good financial advisor comes in. Every financial plan is good until you hit the print button. After that, something changes. Congress enacts a new law, tax laws change, the market drops or it goes up. Whatever happens, that plan has to be monitored. And it has to be monitored and continually updated. The tools that are inside that plan have to be constantly monitored and controlled to make sure that the financial plan stays on track. And this is kind of a good example of what one looks like. So again, we'd like to take all those different things and distill them down so that we can just see what's going to go on, so that we can go back to work and let our financial advisor do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make all this happen. So once it's all drawn up and once it's there in black and white, now we can monitor the plan and make sure it stays on track. This is pretty much the best part, the feedback that I've got from my clients. And what I've found in almost a decade of financial services is that they come to me with excitement about taking care of a problem and making their lives better. But then they kind of realize, wait a minute, like now we actually have to do something, and money decisions are hard decisions, or they're anxious about where they're at. And then when we lay the plan out, they go, oh my gosh, this is so great because now I can just relax and things are handled. How my clients feel at the end of that financial planning process, hopefully, is very educated on what we're doing and again, why we're doing it, informed on the different pieces, where they're going to go, what they're going to do, and the purpose for each of those. And then just confident that they have somebody they can rely on to take care of them and their finances and who has their best interest at heart. Number three, from an actual work standpoint, I call it docu-thumb. At some point, all my clients have to do is sit on their couch while they're watching the Seahawks and click DocuSign. So that's account openings, insurance stuff. That's any number of things these days. Very, very easy from just a practical workload standpoint. The whole process for all my clients, most of it is sitting down and talking. And then very little of it is actually like looking up account statements and opening accounts and doing that kind of thing. And then the final thing is what my goal is with all my clients is that they know they have a guy they can pick up the phone, send an email, send a text, get the answers they're looking for, and focus on all the other things that we want to focus on in our lives besides our money. I hope that really kind of helps set you at ease about the whole financial planning process. One thing I forgot to mention, which honestly is the first thing people usually ask me, is we don't charge at Capital Partners Wealth Management for anything until there's an agreement. And that usually comes in the later steps of the financial planning process. So that first phone call, sitting down and doing that fact finding and stuff isn't going to cost you anything. I mentioned it before earlier in the video, there will be a follow-up video that actually really gets into things like what a fiduciary actually means, how to cut Wall Street out of soaking you for a bunch of your hard-earned money, and the actual business model and things you need to know in order to avoid hiring the wrong financial planner. Also, right below, I'll have in the notes here in the description, if you want to take a quick free financial planning assessment to see what your retirement will look like, how much money you'll have, kind of if you're on track, go ahead and fill out that form. It'll come straight to me. Take a little time and work up just a quick little one-page plan for you and give you some quick answers if I have the time, and good luck in finding a financial advisor.